Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast, your home for all stuff related to your favorite things in entertainment. Now, here are your hosts.
Welcome back. That music can only mean one thing. We are back where it all started. It is the Stuff and Things podcast, and we are talking about Fear the Walking Dead Season 8 Part A. I am Stefan, and I am hopefully joined by Sam.
We say hopefully because this is about the third time we've tried and the technology keeps failing. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, buddy. So,
thank you.
Normally, Sam is the man in charge of the podcast desk and everything else.
Yeah.
And I am about to hold my hands up and come clean on this one. So, we just tried doing a podcast. We now have a blooper of me swearing at it. And it turns out it was because I've moved the wrong fader up.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of worked out.
Yeah, I just moved the wrong one up. I moved up number 4 and not the phone one, and nothing worked. So, yeah. But we are here now, so that is what matters.
Yeah, a very, very, very quick apology for my audio. As anyone who listens to a lot of our shows will know, experienced some bad health and unable to currently sit at a desk chair comfortably. So let out, and Stefan is being a superstar, running the desk, and has called me.
Not running
and,
it very well.
He's doing a phenomenal job. We're all very, very proud of him.
Thank you. You're a liar.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's taken about 25 minutes so far for us to start a podcast.
Just to say hello.
Yeah. Oh, it can only go up from here, can't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah. That's what I've been saying for a long time, but I'm not convinced.
Is that just about the show or about...
No, that's just life in general right now. But we do have a show to talk about, though. Fear the Walking Dead Season 8 Part A, as you say, which is episodes 1 to 6.
1 to 6. So, a quick caveat over it. This is the show that started this podcast. It was you and Alfie from the US of A.
Yeah.
And this was the show that kind of, well, that's how Stuff and Things started. You guys talking about this show that was set pre-apocalypse. It was before
season
the outbreak,
1,
and everything about it was going to be fantastic because we were going to actually see how the world crumbled. Because The Walking Dead, which was still very, very good when this first came out, we kind of missed it all because of Rick being in the hospital. So this show was going to be, this was going to be it. This is going to be how it happened. We're going to get like 4 or 5 seasons of watching the world fall apart. How amazing. Oh, just the first season.
Not even. By the end of season 1, we were kind of okay. We're past this initial phase. It's interesting to talk about because when me and Alfie first discussed doing a podcast, the show me and him talked about more than anything else was The Walking Dead, and then they announced this spin-off and it was coming. I saw that it was being aired in the UK as well, which isn't always the case. Thank you, AMC. Yes, I've named you. And it is a case of we are going to do this, we're going to open it up, and we will open up talking about the spin-off because, there's already 1,000 podcasts plus The Talking Dead doing it for The Walking Dead. So we'll focus on the spin-off, and then it just sort of blew up from there, really. We talked about the main show, and then when yourself came on board, we expanded it to talk about anything that we fancied watching, really.
Basically, if we watched it on TV, we thought, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we chat about it anyway. Might as well see if anyone else wants to listen. But you're right. This is where it all began. So there's an element of a kind of a weird feeling about the fact that it's coming to an end. It is 8 seasons. This is the final season of Fear, though. So yeah, it is a kind of an odd thing that this is where it started and now that's ending. But We talked Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones came and went, etc. So, that's just what happens. The life cycle of things.
Exactly. And, the Fear the Walking Dead have decided to bring back Madison for this last season. Who knows?
Yeah,
we might be able to talk Alfie into one last appearance.
No. There's more chance of no. I was going to say something crude, but no.
No, he's not a big fan of this one anymore, is he? Let's be honest.
There's more chance of Madison being able to act. I've said this before. So when they killed that character off, I literally opened the podcast with that, ding dong, the witch is gone.
It was amazing,
and it was the happiest I've ever been. Because it was just a character I've never liked. Now, this is not, I say this isn't a slander on the actress. I don't rate her as an actor, and that's just my opinion, and we can all move on from it. But the character is, from day one, driven me insane. I've never liked her. When she was gone, and Alicia kind of took the lead role, and Morgan came across as a character, I was very happy, very happy. I thought, Alicia Morgan driving the show, over the moon with that.
And I believe those two and the addition of John Dory.
John Dory was a great character.
I think those three really raised the show up.
Yeah, I felt so too. I mean, John Dory, great actor, and was just a great character. But yeah, there was something about, the show kind of crumbled. It's never been what it was supposed to be, what it was advertised as. And we've discussed that in the past, so we won't, I won't go over that again. But when you saw, the John Dory situation where the actor quit, I've done this for a little while, I want to do something else. I mean, that's okay. But then, rather than adjust the storyline, rather than go, okay, we've lost this character, we need to now do this. They just went, we got this great story we've written. Oh, no, we'll just find his dad. And he's John Dory Sr., and we'll just carry on with the story, but with his dad rather than him. And you're like, this is what? And I think at that point, you're kind of looking at it going, this show is just on life support. So knowing that it's ending, I'm kind of pleased, which sounds rude, but I've kind of felt that they had a little bit of a resurgence. I was very happy, and then the last season going into this, I've just been thinking, please, time to stop, time to end it. Alfie felt like that after season 2, and that was why he quit. Yeah, he walked. I used to have to drag him to the record when we were doing season 3, and you came in at the end of 3 and the beginning of 4 when Morgan crossed over, I believe. I think that was when you started, because I remember you watching rather than you watching every episode, you were watching YouTube refreshes of the first 3 seasons.
That was it. Yeah, I was doing who's who. What do I need to see before it started? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame if you're thinking about it. Season 4 was where it started picking up again with the Morgan characters.
Yeah,
I think I might have quite liked it if he'd given it another season.
I think he'd have enjoyed John Dory and Morgan's story. I think he'd definitely like that because the characterizations were very good, and Morgan is a character that I think most people who are Walking Dead fans really enjoyed and were happy to see again on a regular basis. But no, it just. I think Albie said to me, is it reached a point where it's I don't want to talk about the show, and I also don't want to watch it. So it's you're sitting down to watch something because you were talking about it. Someone would have to pay me serious money to keep watching it. I was like, well, that ain't happening. Goodbye, buddy. And,
nice idea.
And I drafted you in, and a cherry Coke and a Mars bar every other month, and you're good. So,
I'm good.
So,
Apart from season 8 of Fear the Walking Dead, I'm doubling.
Yes, you did mention. We really ought to talk about it.
We should. Let's go. So let's break this down into 2 parts. Let's go for the first 3 episodes, and then the last 3 episodes. So the first 3 episodes. Fine by me. Do you want me to give you the title of the episodes are?
Episode 1, Remember What They Took From You. Episode 2 is Blue Jay, and episode 3 was Odessa.
Odessa, well done. Very proud. I tried to catch you
Thank
up,
you.
but it didn't work. So
Yeah, I know. I'm organised, man.
So in these first 3 episodes, we kind of meet a few different characters that we know from the past, and I have to say the past because there was a heck of a time jump.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
There's a hell of a time jump, but no one really fully kind of explained it to anyone.
No,
We're
so
looking at what 7 to 8 years this time jump has gone.
I've written 7 years question mark because I think there was Mo is now called Ren and was about 8 years old. I think someone said.
Roughly, yeah.
But looks a lot older than 8, by the way. I don't know how old the actual actor is.
I have an 8-year-old stepdaughter, and she looks a lot older and acts. I guess I say acts a lot older. My little one hasn't had to grow up in the zombie apocalypse, so I feel like that may age you.
No, yeah. I mean, that is a fair caveat.
What did you do for your 5th birthday? I had a Peppa Pig party. What did you do? I put down 4 walkers. Yep, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit different.
Oh. Yeah, I missed Little Ass Kicker. Anyway, I genuinely get annoyed. You may not know this, but you know when they do flashbacks and jump around in time, that irks me. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it, but
I think you mentioned it once or twice in one of the other shows.
Once or twice? Oh, okay, yeah. It's something that annoys me. And when you do a time jump, it's like, okay, you're going to do that. Let us have some sort of context to what's gone on. And let us have a little bit of kind of like, okay, there's a rationale behind it.
Oh, no, do you know what my favourite thing with these are? My favourite thing is when you have a time jump and then you constantly reference things that happened in the time jump but never show you.
It was literally what I was about to say.
Chef kiss that. Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Why? Why do it? Why? There's so many things in these first couple of episodes. There's like, we spent years doing this. Doing what? What were you doing? Why were you doing it? What happened when you were doing it? Why? Oh, yeah. The abandoned... is it the Blue Jay, the second episode, with her abandoned train cart?
Yeah.
Tell us more about it. Don't just go, I worked here. Why did you work here? What? Why is it taking like another 3 or 4 episodes for you to tell us anything?
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I mean, it is my major criticism for what they've done with season 8. Now, it's pretty clear once they realised 8 was the final season and they've got 12 episodes, they're breaking it down into 2 blocks of 6. It seems pretty clear to me anyway, they not only want to finish the story for Fear, but they want to kind of do a little bit of a tie-in with perhaps spin-off. And because of that, it's like, in that case, we need to jump to catch up with The Walking Dead, where The Walking Dead is and where the spin-offs are. And we also need to, and therefore our scripts are basically going to be full of, remember so-and-so? Oh, I loved so-and-so. Yeah, when it's sad when they died. Yeah, it was. Because we've had, I know you want to focus on the first 3 for a minute, but we had 6 episodes. There are characters who were in this at the end of season 7 who have not been in these episodes. Like, where are they? Like, Wendell, they're just gone.
Oh, cool. Is it Sarah and Wendell?
Yeah.
I forgot about them. Where have they gone?
Yeah. And of course, probably the biggest character who's missing, and his name has literally gone. Luciana's gone. No, the guy who's been in it from season 1, episode 1, and has been the villain a lot of the time. This is killing me. Strand.
Strand, that's it.
Strand. Oh, that was literally killing my brain then.
Because he left with the group. he was in a boat with them.
He was in the boats. So where is he? Why has no one mentioned him? He did it in 6 episodes. No one even has said his name.
No. Where the hell is he? Did he die? Did he get bitten? Did he leave?
Yeah, I mean, just not even a reference. It's so weird. But yeah, like you said, I mean, Padre. The Padre storyline to me, when we were talking about it in season 7, was very confusing. This is a community kidnapping children. that's a real weird thing. Like, one of the things I like about when you've got villains and stuff is the nuance. So if we're going to go to the main show, The Walking Dead, and the Saviors and Negan, Negan's regime was brutal with a lot of very sadistic, nasty people within it, and he was one himself.
Yeah.
Did some terrible, terrible things. However, you actually understood his rationale. Once you got to know a little bit of the background, it's like, look, I don't agree with him, but I do understand how he's got to this point and how he's doing. Like, people are a resource. You know, he doesn't kill people. He, like, protects them. He's a savior. You know, he deems it is my way, keeps all of these people safe.
Yeah.
Because the world is now brutal and terrible and awful.
And
therefore, I have to be that.
And murdered half
Yeah,
people.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. But my point is, with Padre, when you're kidnapping kids, no, there isn't any. And for me, there were 6 episodes in this where the vast majority of them were then trying to justify this, and I'm still, having watched all 6, going, no.
Yeah.
There is no nuance there. There is no kind of, oh, but we did it because you couldn't protect them. You stole children.
If you wanted to protect people, then you protect everyone and take
you bring them in.
Family,
you know,
yeah.
We've got a couple and a baby. We want Padre to be this amazing place, so we're going to bring you in. What are your skills? You remember, like, when Rick was trying to bring people into the prison? It's like the 3 questions.
Yeah.
Surely these Padre people should be going out and going, hey, okay, you know, what do you have any skills? You know, what have you done? Where are you from? You know, interviewing people. I'm bringing people in, and because they're on a friggin' island for one, so you've got a natural defense. Like, every community we've come up with so far has had walls, and you're a bit nervous about telling people where you are because, you know, walls can be climbed, can be shot, blown up. You're on a friggin' island. Anyone who's coming across is coming across on a boat, and you control all the boats.
Yeah.
You've got, you know, so it's like, you've got no. I just didn't understand that. And then the whole friggin' birds. Everyone's got a bird name because their dad was a bird watcher, and he gave them binoculars. Like, that flashback to them being younger with the dad.
Yeah.
Who just. Like, I don't get it. Like, to me, and I know a lot of people listening possibly love this storyline, and that's great. And please don't let me diminish it for you. But I didn't understand the whole point of us having that. It kind of felt like, okay, we've got this Padre thing. Oh, what's it going to be? We want it to be slightly different to what we've seen before. Because it's like the other thing. Sorry, mate. I know I'm wrong.
No, you're good. You're good.
But their dad, so the boy and the girl, their dad was a military man, and Padre was a government thing set up when they realised the world was falling. They had all those supplies and everything, and he was working hard to make sure this place was ready for when, like, government officials arrived. Remember, that's how Alicia found out about it, because of the bunker, etc.
Yes.
So knowing he was military, I don't believe in a million years this guy plan involved kidnapping kids.
No.
Did it?
No.
This guy.
Exactly.
So they took that, they created that themselves. Yeah. Where, why, what? At no point is it explained other than, oh, we can look after him and you can't. What are you talking about?
There is absolutely no reason for. So, one of the things I thought about when I was watching this, the kidnapping the kids and raising them into the prefects and all that sort of thing, there must have been a time where they had, like, nobody really there to fight because they were taking children. So until the children have grown, been taught, you know, they would only have had grown-ups there anyway. Yeah. So why did they not carry on taking in the grown-ups to be farmers, fighters, policing, that sort of thing? It didn't make any sense as to why they're not taking whole families and building a community.
No, 100% agree with you.
And
it just there was no logic to it.
No, but I say you get the flashbacks and stuff of them stowing away and then him getting bitten in the compound.
Yeah.
And even then, like, it's like, oh, you must keep going what we've started and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, like you said, I'm pretty sure his next line wasn't going to be, but don't you bring the parents. You know, it was very, very strange. And the sort of things they were doing, like we see in episode 2, Blue Jay, which actually was the highest rated episode on IMDb out of all of them.
Really?
Yeah. That was one. So June we meet up with June again. She's off on her own. And she bumps into Dwight and Sherry and their son Finch.
Yeah.
Now the next question is, who named the child Finch? Because all the people there had bird names.
Well, Finch is a bird, mate.
Exactly. So who did Sherry and Dwight kind of? Is that his nickname? Is that his real name? Because we know Ben's name was Mo and Nightingale
that was,
and all that rubbish.
That was his padre name. That wasn't the name they gave him because they said that when they buried him. Spoiler alert.
Oh. Spoiler. Yeah. If you're listening to this podcast and you haven't seen all 6 episodes, there are going to be some spoilers.
Yeah, no shit. Just on that, by the way, I'm fucking ranting, mate. Sorry. You had like this great guide lined up and I'm just hijacking it. I'm sorry, mate. But how fucked up is this, right? So Dwight and Sherry. Dwight has travelled all this way to track down Sherry. We got introduced to it. It was this incredible love story from The Walking Dead to Fear the Walking Dead. He's travelled all this way across the country, tracking down clues. He finally finds her, and she's embroiled in this turf war in these groups, and they can't be together, and he goes through hell, and he's trying to be a better person and prove to her that he's a better person, and they finally get back together. And there's all this tension and problems because of the past and Negan and the saviors and all of the issues, but they're together and they're in love, they make love, she's pregnant. Oh, what are we going to do? This is terrible. But no, we love each other and we're going to bring a child into this world. And we as an audience have gone on this journey with them and we're all invested in this wonderful, boom, time jump, kid's dead. What the actual fuck? Oh, now, add to that, now the kid's been buried, we're going to break up as well.
Now... Yeah, okay. I was going to get onto this a bit later, but I'm going to go into it now with you then.
Yeah, so dive into it now because I'm just going to keep ranting about it.
Let's just look at the fact what they did to the child. Now, don't get me wrong, Padre was already like the bad guy, but in my head, minus the whole taking children away from their families to build the community, which is pretty bad. They hadn't done anything yet that made me go, "Ooh, big scary villain." You know, until they strap down this young child and have a walker, only the walker's head attached to a machine, take a chunk out of his shoulder in front of his parents.
Yeah.
Who, now, in the nicest way possible, the parents didn't put up that much of a freaking fight.
Yeah, I would be doing
a lot more than just screaming no at someone. I would be throwing hands and feet.
Yeah, I fully appreciate that they were at gunpoint, right? And I fully appreciate that you cannot prejudge a situation. However, my child is about to get munched on. You better believe I plan on dying first. I would freaking throw everything.
Yeah.
They would literally have to shoot me in the friggin' head to stop me from trying to get to that kid.
And neither of them, they just kind of stand there being held by a guard.
I watching that like, clearly the kid was born with ginger hair or something because Dwight clearly ain't that fussed. He ain't that. Maybe there's some suspicion. Maybe the kid put a leather jacket on once and like sounded like Negan and made Dwight suspicious. Like I don't know. I have no idea.
He speaks with a bit of a redneck accent every now and again. And he's like,
every now and again he leans backwards and swears a lot. There's so much but do you get what I mean though? Like we followed this amazing story of these two. Now I get it. There is no happy end in the zombie apocalypse. Okay, fine. You're never going to give us that. That's the way you want it to be. Fine, I'll accept it. But don't take us on this incredible journey over all these seasons, crossing over from one show to the other, just to shit on it.
Just to literally stand on a beach and go, "Now we're done."
I don't get it as well. Like,
What?
clearly, when we're together, bad thing. I'm like, are you serious? Like,
Have
when
you
you were
seen the rest of
apart,
the world? It's not.
yeah. Like, what planet are you on?
It's like
we're gonna
broken up.
disregard.
Oh, there's the cure.
We're gonna disregard every amazing thing that's happened whilst we're together,
Yeah.
because a couple of bad things have happened as well. It's like, I mean, I think there's even a line where he's like, we can't keep blaming these groups like the Saviors and the Padre. Maybe it's us. And I'm thinking, are you even listening to yourself? Like, oh yeah, and Negan wasn't really at fault for forcing himself on you whenever he wanted you and burning my face with an iron. Clearly, it was because we were a couple and deserved it. What?
Yeah, and before I get told off for listeners for the normal comment, did he open his eyes and see what was stood in front of him? Like, it's a zombie apocalypse, dude. And she is still there. Like, come on.
Come on. Less of your thirstiness. Fans of the show get fed up with that.
They do, but everyone also who listens to this show knows that Sherry is one of my favourite looking characters.
Favourite looking characters. To be honest with you, I did think she was going to die in this, which after they killed Rosita off in The Walking Dead, I thought might really
I'm done!
You.
That's it.
Yeah, I thought that might be enough to push you over the edge.
Oh,
but,
mate, the Rosita one broke me. That was like, I actually cried. Rosita, but that's another show.
That was very well done. Sad, but very well done.
Whereas in this one, however,
talking
of well done, let's go back to Fear the Walking Dead.
Did you find that I didn't care about that kid, and this is really awful.
No, at
but
no
we
point.
Never saw him grow up. We never saw, it was a baby, and then was this kid that none of us knew,
and do you know
who
what?
was moaning all the time and was just a pain in the ass.
I have unfortunately got the exact same feelings towards Mo. The whole way through this, we knew Mo as a baby, and as a baby, she didn't do anything. She's a baby. Now we have this kid who just doesn't really do as she's told, does the opposite of everything she's told, and I'm just like, I don't care.
It's a bit Carl there. It's a bit, where's Carl? Well, he ain't in the house.
Yeah, we're gonna take her here. No, I'm gonna kidnap her, put her on a weird train thing, and take her the complete opposite direction. Why? Because I said I would. No, what the fuck are you doing, child? And when they're in the boathouse. Okay, this is like the last episode now. We're jumping around. Forget the theory. We're jumping around now.
Yeah, episode 4 is called King County. Episode 5, More Time Than You Know. Episode 6, All I See Is Red. Now, carry on.
Episode 6 is going to get his own rant towards the end. That's fine. But at episode 4, I can talk about it quite well. But there's these moments with Mo, and she's in the boathouse and it's sinking and the zombies are coming in. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't care. Horrible. I was more upset when Grace died, because that was a character I'd got to know, had kind of an emotional connection to that character, so therefore quite sad that she died, and the way it all happened, it was like, oh, really? Come on. One of those sort of moments. But with the kid, I'm like, this is meant to be like the Carl or Judith of this show. And I'm just sat there going, yeah, whatever. You're annoying me now, child. You're arguing.
I don't know.
You're fighting back. I'm like, I don't care. I haven't got to know the character growing up because of the time jump, and I'm like, I have no connection to his character yet.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I mean, a connection thing. I mean, my connection is to Morgan, and Morgan cared, so I guess that's why I was a little bit invested. But yeah, you're right. It's very difficult, and it's what we just said about the kid that got buried. Yeah,
there's no real connection there. I have a good connection to both of his parents because we've followed them from the original show to this show. Yeah. Like you said, the big love story and all that. So when the kid gets bit in the train, I am devastated for Sherian Dwight.
What did you think to... sorry, mate, I'm going to ask you a question here. Yeah. What did you think to June/Naomi, as Madison still called her? What did you think to June and her kind of treatment idea, and the fact that for years with Padre, she's basically been having people bitten and then radiating them. Now, this is a woman who lost a child herself, then lost herself over it, had a wonderful love story with John, really redeemed herself, looked caring, looked after everybody. And now we meet her again after the time jump, and she's been experimenting on children. And I mean, again, I'm at a loss. Like, why am I supposed to still care about this character when basically she's been evil, and everyone else is like really chill with it? Like, oh, June, will you try that treatment on Grace? You know, I'm like, why are you still talking to this person? She has been working with Padre to have people bitten, and then she's radiating them to death. There is an entire train car full of radiated frigging corpses. That is her. There is no one else there. That is her thing.
Her kill count is fairly high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yet no one seems to be focusing on that. Everyone's like, oh, is the treatment working? Yeah, it could do. No, it's not.
Yeah, we meet that guy, what's his name, Adrian or something like that, his name was? Aiden, something, in that episode, who's trying to find his daughter.
Yeah.
And then he finds his daughter, like, in the train car, and he goes and lets the daughter eat him, which was, yeah. Very strange. I haven't understood that bit at all. But, you know, that happens, and it is all June. June is the person who is doing all of this. Okay, Shrike is the one telling her to do it, but she's still done it. You know, it's all her research, it's all her, and part of me understands where she's coming from. Alicia survived all that time, and they put it down to the radiation and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But then she goes, oh, but we tried it at one point and it gave too much radiation and killed someone.
Yeah.
After that first person who had been bitten naturally out doing something, and they tried to do it maybe, after that first person, you don't go, oh, maybe we waited too long. Let's go get someone else and bite them and then do it straight away and see if that works.
Yeah.
Because if they're trying to do it as a cure for what happens out on runs and stuff like that, it might take them a day to get back. So there's no point doing it on a fresh bite because, well, that's not how it would happen. And I'm just like, this is just really... And then, like you say, everyone's just kind of like, Grace has been bitten. Why don't you do that thing that's killing everyone to her instead?
Yeah.
Oh, their boy's been bitten. Can you try doing it again?
Yeah.
Like, Sherry and Dwight are basically asking her, can you do it again? Does it work? Do it again.
Yeah.
And, like, the boy himself says about Shrike being there. And he's like, no, don't do it. Don't make anybody go through what I'm having to go through. Like, so he's obviously in a lot of pain. And they're just like, all right, June, don't worry about it. It's all good.
Yeah, crack on.
My son is in absolutely excruciating agony because of the stuff that you did.
Yeah, but
it's cool.
But, you know, besties.
Yeah.
So, a question again. Madison crops up a fair bit in this.
Yeah.
I don't actually understand why. Now, this is going to sound like I'm just attacking her, but genuinely, what did Madison as a character add to these 6 episodes?
Honestly, absolutely nothing.
If
you swapped her character out for Strand, for example, and Strand had been the one
difference.
going
no
out,
difference.
Yeah, he'd been going out getting the children, and he's now in charge.
Probably
of
would have
this
made
new
more
people.
sense.
Yeah, he's now in charge of the new group of people that won't trust him, but they will in time. You've gone, yeah, that works.
Now, just to prove that wasn't just because of my opinion on Madison.
Yep.
Daniel Salazar, a character I have loved from season 1, a character with so much depth and interest, intrigue. The last time we saw Daniel, he was struggling with his mental faculties.
That's right.
And
he's drinking special
was having more bad days than good days.
Yeah.
Now, 7 years later, and everybody knows that's a degenerative illness. So what that means is that in 7 years' time, he would be worse, not better.
Yeah.
I don't care what tea he's drinking.
a very good team.
So for him to show up in full Daniel mode again, like, it was stupid. It was pointless, and it was just shoehorning him in to the final series when they clearly had no plan for him.
It was the whole story, like the actual storyline with the group of parents.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that storyline because, you know, if you've had your children taken, there are going to be parents out there that want their children back.
Yeah.
And them coming together to form their own kind of army, I get that. Why they've not done anything in 7 years was a bit of a... Surely, the best thing you could have done was attacking the first year when Padre wasn't that well assembled and was literally 2 kids running the show. That would have made a lot more sense. Even the first 2 years, it was still kids running it all. That would have been easy to topple. Instead, you've waited 7 years for them to build their own army up, and now you're getting annoyed that you haven't seen your kids, and I'm like, okay, that doesn't quite work for me.
It made no sense.
The premise of it was good. And I think it sums up the Fear the Walking Dead itself. The idea of it was really good. But then the final execution of it made you sit there and go, but why? You know?
So you want to talk about episode 4 a little bit, which was King County, which is Morgan returning to where it all began.
Yeah. Now, this in itself, I loved parts of this because it was the callback to Clear.
Yeah.
And we were seeing all the houses he was in and the throwbacks. So I loved all that.
Yeah.
You know, how do you
Wick
know...
mentions as well.
What's that?
Wick being mentioned as well.
Yeah, he gave him the rifle that was upstairs and there's bullets under the bed, and Grace's like, how do you know this? Yeah, I stayed here. It's fine. I couldn't go home, so I stayed here instead, and this was where I was doing my clear from, and all that I thought was great.
Yeah.
The boy being locked up in the attic, that was a bit wow.
Yeah, it was messed up,
but he did it, but he doesn't remember doing it. And all this sort of thing. And there was a little part in this that made me go, oh no. Are we going to start now getting loads of flashbacks to stuff Morgan did but doesn't remember? But it happened so long ago that it's now completely irrelevant really to this story.
Yeah, no, I think it was just setting up episode 6, really.
And this is my thing. So I've had that worry that we're going to get, like, episode 5 was just going to be all of Morgan, or the end of episode 4 into 5 was going to be Morgan's flashbacks and what's happened before. And it's going to be like I said, we've had a 7-year time jump here. We're already, God knows how far into the apocalypse by this point. What happened at the very beginning, I didn't care about now because it's not relevant now. Don't do it. And then let's get to episode 6, the final episode of the season. All I see is red, as you say. I don't know if it's just me, but this episode drove me insane.
Okay.
It was the red screen and then the blackouts and him waking up. If that had happened once or twice, okay. Every 5 to 10 minutes.
I think it was obviously an artsy styling choice.
Yeah.
The way they did it. For me, similar to you, I just find it frustrating and annoying. The idea, we know, first I lose people, then I lose myself. We know that Morgan has that, he loses it, goes into clear mode, as we call it.
Yes.
He beat the crap out of Madison at least 3 times, and I never got to see it, which is hurting me more than... That hurts me more than anyone will ever know. You took a swing at me with your axe, Morgan. I'm like, oh, dude, you missed. What are you doing? So,
I had to knock you out. And it was like, oh, okay. So, that's the point. So she says she had to knock him out with the sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Where was the bruise or the blood?
Like, come on.
If you hit someone in the head with a sledgehammer, you ain't knocking them out.
No, you're. I mean, what did she do? Use the handle end? Come on, mate. I had to knock you out. I'm sorry. I'm not buying that Madison, who is barely able to catch her breath, is swinging a friggin' lump hammer, and Morgan, who's basically a martial arts trained badass with that stick, ain't knocking out of her hand and killing her.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway. So yeah, I find it frustrating. I find it because a lot of stuff I would have liked to have seen, like them trying to clear that yard. You know, there was stuff in it. I was like, oh, that could be a really interesting visual.
Yeah, no, it was even better. They go to the yard. They go to this yard where Padre is, which is filled with thousands upon thousands of walkers.
Yeah, not anymore.
No, there's so many walkers there that I'm even questioning how that many walkers got inside those gates.
Agreed, yeah.
Like, when her dad dies, it's like 10, 15 walkers.
Yeah.
But when we go back 7 years, like we go back now, it's like, oh, the entire area's amount of zombies. Now, it could be something as cool as every time a herd walked past, they took the herd into like a side entrance to this place. Yeah. With other people on the other side rattling the cages, so they all walked in. Which cool.
Funnily enough, I think they reference that they've been putting them there. But then at the same time, how freaking moronic are they when they need everything in those containers?
Yeah.
It's like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
But then I'm like really excited that Morgan's gone there. And in my head, I'm like, we are going to see Morgan in full clear mode.
Yeah.
Just
and
going
this is going to be
through them.
This is going to be visually awesome, yeah.
And no, he just wakes up on the floor and like everyone's Madison and the parents are all stood there going, what happened? Oh, you went crazy. You killed everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we get it again in the swamp. He gets stabbed in the swamp by Mo. And he's like, you attacked me. Right.
That cracks me up. She stabs him in the chest. I mean, just like, oh, wow, okay. I mean,
it's your dad. You've now established it's your dad because this guy you've never met you're now calling dad again. So fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Just go with it for a minute. That's fine. And then he attacks you. Size of Morgan, size of 8-year-old girl.
Yeah.
But it's your dad, so you don't really want to kill your own dad. So instead of going for the leg or anything, you go straight through the chest.
Straight for the chest, yeah.
And Morgan just got like, ow! Brush it off.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I mean, you know.
And then he pulls the knife out. What an idiot. No, never pull the knife out. That's how the damage happens.
No.
But he pulls the knife out. Yeah. And he just carries on walking through swamp water. Now in my head, I'm like, dude, it may not be zombie infected, but that is freaking infected now.
Yeah, you ain't going to be well very soon.
That's going gangrene. You're in trouble.
I hope you find some antibiotics when you go on one of your massive walks that you like to go on.
Yeah. But it's just crazy. Some of it is
the way this show is kind of, for me anyway, it would appear that, you know, Padre's done, as was.
Yeah.
Morgan hands over control to Madison. Now, if I'm Daniel, I'm stood there like, hello?
No, I'm good.
Literally the guy in charge of the army that took the place. Why her? Morgan, me and you have been friends for like the last however many years. She was dead, we thought. Okay, fine.
The last place she was in control of had a plague go through the crops and then burnt to the ground.
It's like, okay, fine. All right, fine. Plot armor. Madison is now in charge. All right, great, brilliant. Morgan, I don't know why you get to decide, but you have. Right, fine. No worries. And it was a symbolic handing the show back, wasn't it? In reality, that's what it was.
Yeah, because
Madison had died. Morgan had come in.
Yeah.
And this was him handing the show back. So, as far as I'm aware, from everything I've read, Morgan Jones has now left Fear the Walking Dead. So Fear the Walking Dead has 6 more episodes to finish.
Yeah.
And it will focus back in on Madison. The character that started it all is now going to be the character that ends it all.
Which is great. Like,
I can't wait, to be honest with you.
I messaged you and I was like, oh look, Morgan's sailing into the sunset. I wonder if he'll turn up with Rick somewhere. And you're kind of like, no, that's it. He's done. He's out of fear.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm like, oh, so he was literally sailing into the sunset.
Yeah,
wow.
He literally was gone.
Okay.
So now Dwight is leaving Sherry. So I don't know whether Sherry is staying around this area and will be part of the back six. But Dwight says he's heading back home. Now, of course, we know back home is now very different. Anyone who's watched the first episode of Dead City will be aware of the term Babylon and New Babylon. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yep.
I'm not sure Dwight's face will fit, but boom. So there's that. But the two aspects then, the show is going to wrap with Madison, and we got this weird after credit thing of someone who has Alicia's arm and also had sunglasses.
Yeah, now...
Are we supposed to know who that is? Because I haven't got a clue.
Was that meant to be really symbolic? Like, he picks up the sunglasses, a hammer, and Alicia's arm. And I'm like, great! Who the fuck is that?
Yeah. I kind of feel like I should know. I feel like I should know who that is. Like, they've just, like, gone... Like, they think fans are watching that going, oh, that's so-and-so, that's amazing. And I'm sat there going, I have no idea.
Let's have a look.
If you wanted me to be like blown away by that scene, then it needed to be a one-armed woman putting that arm in a bag, and I would have freaked. I'd have been like, she is still alive. OMG, this is massive. I can't wait for the next 6 episodes so they can try and explain how in the hell she's still alive. This is amazeballs. Now that would have hooked me in. Unless, of course, they've decided that her arm's regrown. Bloody no.
I'm looking through the good old people on IMDb just to see if anyone puts on there. I mean, the reviews aren't great.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of like, nothing on here is saying.
No, I did have a very brief googly, and there were a couple of theories, but they mentioned characters that I can't remember, and I didn't want to bring that up on the podcast because that doesn't seem good.
So apparently, here we go. So, who is that at the end? The military stuff, the same hammer that Madison used to kill Troy, but the hands look female. Maybe this is Troy's daughter going for revenge, but how did she get Alicia's hand? So many questions. That's it. That's the second half of the season could be special if they reintroduce Strand, Madison, Troy, and the classic characters into one last battle.
No, I don't care. I'm
sorry. That person, I think, is clutching at straws. But maybe.
I do. I'll tell you what. There is one scene in this last that I did enjoy.
Oh, okay.
And that's why. And that is Mo and Morgan have left.
Yeah.
And they have made their way to a graveyard. And he's put in a grave and burying Grace there.
Yes.
And I suddenly realised the significance of where he is. The grave he stood next to, which he's buried Grace next to, is for Eastman. Now, you may remember, you may not, but in the Walking... Yeah, the guy who wore the t-shirts, like, Save the Terrapins or whatever.
Yeah.
He is the guy who brought Morgan back from insanity. He is the guy who helped him find balance.
All life is precious.
All life is precious,
Yeah.
And he's there training Mo with the staff, just like he did at that very location. It was quite a nice moment.
Yep.
And so I enjoyed that. That was a really nice throwback moment. And then, for me, the ultimate throwback, I don't know whether you want to call it an Easter egg or not, but when Morgan grabs his radio and says, "This is for Rick Grimes, I'm coming looking for you. I'm going to leave my radio on at this time. I'll leave it on for a couple of minutes." Is identical to what Rick was doing when Rick went to Atlanta, and he thought Morgan was going to follow him back in season 1 of The Walking Dead. So we've gone full circle.
Yeah.
Now Morgan's doing it for Rick. I would love, and I said this to you a while back, I would love the finale of Rick Grimes' story to involve Morgan. I would love those two characters to be together at the end.
Yeah.
Whether Morgan's involved in the Rick and Michonne spin-off, I don't know. Or maybe this is just the perfect way for the Morgan character to end and all of us to create our own headcanon. I don't know.
Of him trying to find
for me, I'd love that. I'd love to see those two together again because they are the original two.
Yeah.
You know, those two and Dwayne, these were the first people into the apocalypse that we got to know. You know, it was literally Morgan teaching Rick, what's going on. Also, two very good British actors, by the way.
True.
People, they're British? Yeah, they are. Yeah, both of them.
I'll give it away. Yeah.
Yeah. Carl. But anyway, mate, that's it. I mean, I could rant more about different things, but I think people have heard me rant enough today.
I think we've covered all 6 episodes pretty well and the things that happened in this first half.
Yeah, I agree. And I ended on a positive.
And you ended on a positive. I know, I like it. As the people listening have probably noticed, we are doing this as Season 8 Part A, and Part B will be out once the show has fully wrapped after episode 12. Have they released the dates for this yet, or is it just 2023?
I don't think they've confirmed it, but the suspicion is it's going to be after Dead City.
Oh, okay. And that's 6
Dead
episodes
City,
as well, isn't it?
Dead City runs for 6, then Fear's back 6, and then I believe we're going to be getting the Daryl spin-off.
The Daryl spin-off. So, Walking Dead-wise, we are going to have a lot to talk about on the podcast.
We are.
We are going to do a Dead City podcast. It is looking likely that it will be after the 6 episodes come out, and we will talk about the whole season.
Correct.
Due to trying to find it on TV in the UK at the moment being rather difficult.
It's impossible.
Mainly because this show does have a global audience, but apparently the global audience aren't allowed to watch it.
No.
Which is a bit difficult when you're trying to run a podcast about it.
A little bit, yeah.
But fingers crossed, by the time that episode 6 is out, it'll all be sorted. We'll be able to watch it over in the UK, and then we will get a podcast up about it as well. Same with the Daryl show, and the same with the second half of Fear the Walking Dead.
Yes.
For those of you who do enjoy the podcast and listening to other things, we have got a lot coming up. We have The Witcher coming up soon. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 podcast coming out soon. Secret Invasion is out weekly as well, as that show is on. And we do also have our first Apple TV podcast coming out soon as well. We've got a few shows to talk about that we've watched on there. So nice and busy for us for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
With all that said, it is time to say goodbye. So Sam, I'll let you say your goodbyes.
Thank you for running the desk today, my friend. You did it very professionally. I'm very impressed. Massive thank you to everybody for continuing to listen and messaging when you do. I appreciate the get well messages I've had as well. I am hopefully on the road to recovery. Apologies for the audio again, but we will be back very soon talking other wonderful things.
Lovely. And I will say goodbye and leave you with a very important message.
This message is for Rick Grimes. It's Morgan Jones. Man, I'm going to come and look for you, whether you're at Alexandria or not. I will leave this message every morning at dawn, and I'll leave the walkie on for a few minutes after. Who knows? Maybe you might even be listening.
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things podcast to join in our conversation every week.